What's up, everybody, and welcome back to something I haven't done in quite some time, like 6 months, a UniVersus top 30 for the Nationals/Worlds season. So Nationals doesn't exist anymore, but I thought that I would include it in the phrasing just to make my point. We've got a super major happening in Dallas in roughly a month at time of recording. And so what I'm going to do is I want to tell you what I think are the top 30 characters in the game in order, who they are, and why I think that they deserve this spot. Little pros, little cons of playing said character. Put a lot of work, put a lot of effort into this, more work and effort than my previous top 30 list, specifically because I don't have you guys to bounce off of. Normally I do like a community-driven poll, and then I get that information back, and then we compare our lists, but I didn't do that this time. I wanted to just dive in a little deeper into why I feel the way that I feel. And so, without further ado, starting with number 30, we have Grog Strongjaw, Mighty Half Giant from Critical Role. A character that's seen a ton of play, but not a ton of success. So I want to talk a little bit about him. Pros: great draw engine. You know, every time you hit, you grab your counter, spin your counter, draw a card. High damage throws are the primary way that the character is being played. You know, putting +3 damage on a throw feels very good. Your 5-hander is not really a 5-hander. You draw a bunch of cards. But my big con is slow to get the game started. You do need these rage counters to make your stuff work and is online. If my opponent's not actively attacking you, then it is tough to generate these rage counters. He's also really susceptible to like one really tall move. You know, like, hey, here's a 18 damage unblockable move, and you go, I'll reduce it by 2. I'll take 16. Like, ouch. And so the character's a little tough, but yeah, a little slow to get the game started. There's probably more aggressively slanted 5-handers you could be playing, but all in all, this guy's got a pretty consistent game plan once he gets off of the ground, which is why I think Grog is in my 30th spot. In 29th, I got Armin Arlet, Power of the Colossus. I think this character is very slept on in the current format. I think the biggest issue that he has outside of his pros and cons is he is tough to play. And what I mean by that is not like his play pattern, his loops or whatever. It's more of like, why play him when I could play something else? And the answer is there's just like a lot of cool things that this guy's got going on. Pros: Unyielding got banned. He wants to transform with 8 or more foundations, and so my rival's setting me back to 4 is pretty tough. Reusable foundations: I flip one foundation, I hit you, I unflip any foundation that I want, and this is can be paired up with flipping a foundation and then unflipping a non-foundation if you can figure out how to get a card in your card pool. So like, or a card in your stage, excuse me. And so having things like unflipping the buzzword of the season, Mutant Machine, could be something that you could do that's very cheeky in this character. And then his last big pro, truthfully, is it really feels like checkmate whenever he gets flipped. If he finds his 8 foundations and transforms and it gets back to his turn, right? If you don't kill him on the turn that you have available to you, having this +5 damage, look at the top card of your deck, it feels very overwhelming. But with that said, the con is the front side, it's very hard to kill. He's a 6-hand size character that, yes, he's giving +2 damage and flipping and unflipping foundations, but that's kind of all he does. And there's a lot of 6-handers that are shaped this way, even on this top 30 list, that are, I'm a 6-hand size character that's got roughly 30 health that gives +2 damage on my moves, and they do some other thing. The real power of the Colossus is once he gets flipped onto the backside, it's checkmate. This character is very, very good at that. And so navigating the early game into the mid game into the late game is the puzzle there. Up next, another Colossus Titan. We've got Bertolt Hoover, Living Weapon. 5-hand size aggro character. He's kind of the, spoilers for later on in the list, Mikasa 4 diet, or like RC Cola Mikasa 4, of just like, I'm gonna play a bunch of moves and I'm going to attack, constantly drawing cards, discarding cards, getting +2 damage. No longer says -2, he's been errated. As well as on the backside, he's got this really neat keeping my card pool clear automatically trick of you can remove a card, draw a card, commit a rival foundation, or whatever. There's just like 2 neat ways to play this guy. But the front side is the main reason to play him. And big pros here is he's consistent. Draw 2, discard 2 to like filter out what you need or what you want is very strong. The big issue that he has, I think, is the fact that you are a base 5-hander, so you draw your 5. If they're not good enough, you can't like get the party started, but you can just roll into other things. The big thing I do want to talk pros wise is just his symbol spread. The fact that he has both death, which is top 2, top 3 symbols in the game right now, combined with fire, which has a lot of really good, powerful, potent, attuned cards, is what really puts this guy over top of Mikasa when it comes to like wanting to play this game plan. And the reason that I would play Bert is just having access to the fire symbol versus the air symbol. If you like the air tech pieces that you get rather than the fire tech pieces that you get, then you play Mikasa. If you like the fire stuff, you play Bert. 2 very, very similarly shaped decks. But yeah, I've got Bert down here at 28th. Yeah. From here, 27th, we've got Flock Forrester, Jaegerist leader. This guy, I think, is not on very many people's radars, because it kind of feels like he's a bit of a one-trick idea. Pros are Falling Titans OTK. If you have a way to interact with my rival messing with that game plan, which the life and the fire symbol very much do, they've got a ton of interaction with the things that you're doing. There's a ton of board state interaction. There's a ton of stopping you on block interaction, which is very, very good. And he kind of didn't see a lot of play because there was just a backup that did his first enhance better than him. It was just 9 Titans from throughout the ages, but he's 9 Titans, and so if you've missed this game plan, I actually think that this character might be better than like a Han Zoe 1, just because of this enhance to mill extra cards and then build the backups, combined with like things like Little Mister. There's something really, really strong about what Flock is doing, and the Falling Titans OTK, while being strong, is not the only way you have to play this guy. He himself has a ton of options when it comes to getting the game done, especially if like you're accidentally building in, too difficult backups. I think this guy is very, very good. My biggest con is normally it's a single focus game plan. Normally it is, I go for the Falling Titans OTK. If you have multiple ways to interact with that, I'm probably just going to lose on the spot. Up next, in 26th, I've got Elder Togoro. This character is the perfect toolbox. I think that there's a world where if like Stockfish was playing our game, and Stockfish was allowed to play Elder Togoro, that I don't know that he would lose any games. It is when you sit down across from Elder Togoro, I actually never know what the deck is going to be doing. Yes, deck lists are open and whatever, but like I look at the list and I go, oh, I have to tech my deck for any 100 number of what Elder Togoro could be doing, or he's got this really spicy one-of that absolutely beats what my plan, my package, my strategy, and they get to play it every turn. And so like, hey, this thing flips foundations, this thing destroys foundations, this thing hand rips or whatever. Like they can just use that perfect toolbox and play it immaculately. The big con though is his early game is really weak. He is a 20 health character. He does only have 7 cards in his hand. Yes, he can switch out a non-attack or non-foundation for an attack card. But the question is what does your survivability look like in the early game when you've got things, just trying to ram down the gate as fast as they can. So the question is for your Elder Togoro deck, can you survive? If the answer is yes, I'd put him very highly, I would rank him very highly on a list like this. So 29th or 26th is very good. Next, 25th, I've got Peak Finger. This character is another classic 6 hand size character that just like pumps stats, but has this like really interesting gameplay of the constant transform untransform, which is primo to the character, like incredible. Plus speed, plus damage is +3/+3 for destroying 2 foundations, which is kind of a lot. Destroy 2 foundations for +3/+3 or -3/-3 is a lot of extra buttons or extra math that you need to push in order to like push through the defense for this character, as well as like building in the asset of the anti-Titan artillery to selectively commit foundations down. It's just, if you miss, right? If you don't find the good ones, because of the fact you destroy and mutilate your stage so badly, it's hard for her to have 2 pop-off turns in a row, right? I pop off and I do the cool thing. I pop off, I do the cool thing. That doesn't really happen with a character. You kind of got to build your stage up, and then you shrink it down, and then you need to build it back up. And if you're building back up because you missed, it's like, well, how hard did you go? Were you supposed to go for it in the first place? This character's got some interesting, weird gameplay patterns, but at the same time, one of the best fundamental characters that we have in Standard right now. I'm just nervous that she kind of gets Yahtzeed out by like the early aggro, and also gets out controlled by the control decks. She's like kind of a perfect mid-range deck, as long as you're appropriately using your ability. Up next, I've got Pumat Soul, Magical Proprietor. Possibly the best Mutant Machine deck that there is. And the fact that we lost Equipment Heist, assets are less focused in the metagame, and so asset hate is going to be less normal. And so people are going to be putting away their asset hate to focus on other areas like carpal clearing or whatever, which means that Pumat's allowed to take advantage of this. But my biggest con here is that he does need an enhance to build in this asset. He's got to enter the enhance step, whether it be my turn, your turn, whatever. And so if he gets a little unlucky, he is allowed. He can peter out a little bit. But at the same time, the response is very good. My turn, your turn. Discard a card. After you play an attack card, me or you, choose one, EX2 or EX3, rival commits 2, draw 2 cards. And so kind of like a pseudo 7-hander asterisk, you could say, right? Discard 1, draw 2, and then like pop in cards into your stage. This character is very neat. This character has a lot of cool kickflips that he's allowed to do, and the fact that he just like, you know, conjures an MMM from hand is very good. But I'm not a major believer, but I can't deny he's very strong. Up next in 23rd, I've got Ryu, World Warrior. I called Peak the best fundamentals character. I lied. It's Ryu, actually. Ryu, +2 damage on all of your moves, non-tech, non-weapon. And then after an attack, mine of yours is completely blocked. Draw 3 cards, take a card from your hand, and put it on top of your deck to confirm my next check. It's very, very good. All Fire Void, incredible symbol spreads, and every move getting this +2 damage, whether you are committed or not, with no cost whatsoever, is very, very strong. The biggest con that I have is I have boring in here, and what I mean by that is the deck is not necessarily flashy. It is just +2 damage and confirm my check, draw a little hotter, and so the fact that like you as the player have to do a lot of heavy lifting when it comes to when, what, where, how I'm utilizing my cards, means that the highs of the deck is not the highs of the deck are not the best that they could be. It's tough to have a big crazy pop-off turn of this character, but man, he is above average in basically everything that he does. And because of how many rounds we have, I can't tell if that's a good thing or a bad thing. How consistent do I want to be throughout my 9-round tournament versus, I don't know, if I spike a couple of good rounds, I just like sneak my way into top cuts. It's a tough choice. But again, this guy's got a crazy symbol spread. If you were trying to answer the metagame right now, I think Ryu has got a very good chance to do it. Up next, we've got Mitten-kun, Sleeping Prodigy. This character, I think, is very good. 8 hand size, 36 health character is a lot to deal with because of the response. If your non-throw attack deals damage, deals 2 or more damage. Important. Draw 3 cards. It's think back to how many games of UniVersus you've played that you have perfected your opponent, especially when they go first, right? The fact that this guy has access to so many cards whenever they go first, the fact that we can, when they do go first, form a once per turn Tenacious, build a card face up or face down from your card pool is very strong. So like quick building foundations is very, very good. But the big con is like his block strings are really bad, right? As a 5 hand size character. And you have to have the on hit. And so like going second, I think, is really, really tough for this guy, because you are very slow in the tempo pacing of how you want your game to work. But at the same time, 8 hand size, 36, like it is possible for you to get your feet underneath you, but it is all going to be about, it's all going to be about like, can I make that on hit happen? So you're going to run into these defensive decks like a Midoriya, like a Rodian, even like a Sung Jin Woo to like damage reduction your thing. I think that the cons are pretty heinous when going second. So if you're good at dice rolls, Mitten-kun is probably a guy for you. In 21st, my last of my bottom 30, right? Is Bridget. 7 hand size, 21 health character. My pros. Bonus resources. What a character that just generates so much stuff. Flip a card in my card pool, so an attack that's not currently being played for extra stats, plus or minus stats. And then after my attack deals damage, add a face down card from my card pool to my momentum. It doesn't even have to be a thing that hit you, right? You blocked the first one, I play another one, I flip it and then move it after it hits. I got my momentum for free. I cleared my progressive by 1. It's very, very strong. And she has like a 3-card OTK that like she can pretty consistently hit. If you find triple Fillet Fling, you just kind of win the game on the spot, unless your opponent has a point of interaction, which is the big con. We know what Bridge is going to do. Card pool clearing and lifting and having things leave the card pool is very prevalent inside of the metagame at the moment. And so if you kind of muck up or interact with a singular point of interaction, the deck kind of falls apart a little bit. But her first block on the other con is she doesn't need to get a card in her card pool in order for her blocks to be free, right? I put a card in my card pool and then flip it for -2 to block the next one, to flip it, -2 to the next one, to flip it, so on and so forth. So there are certainly some very cool kickflips that you can do with Bridget, but as a 21 health character that is playing an interesting game, a different game, I like this character, but I'm not crazy high on her. And there it is. There's my bottom 10. I'm now going to give you guys a second to flame me in the comments. I can't believe you put this character so low. Where's this guy? But we'll move on. So here's 20th. Here's Reiner Braun. I think this guy's very, very good. Unyielding Instruction, gone. So, we can find our 9 foundations pretty easily. This guy is incredibly hard to kill at 34 health with damage reduction both on the front side and massive damage reduction on the back side. And he is now the quintessential foundation stage control deck, right? I'm ruining constantly. I'm flipping 4 of your foundations. There's more cards that I can ruin on the death symbol. The death symbol's identity right now is not necessarily foundation destruction, but one of the best characters in the game is I destroy my own foundations deck. And so when Reiner plays against, I'll just name her, Mikasa, it feels very Reiner favored. And so if you think that the event's going to be all Reiners all the way down, I think Reiner's got a very good chance into that matchup. My issue is everywhere else. My con, beware the draw. This guy's very strong, but sometimes his entire game plan is, I'm just going to destroy your foundations to make sure that you don't do anything. You're going to block every move that I do, but I'm not actually going to progress the game forward we're gonna keep us both spinning our wheels in this game state that neither of us can really recover from, because, like, you know, I'm breaking my things or committing my things for you to break yours. You'll rebuild back, and then I have to break them all again. But like the foundation, the attacks that break cards are not the attacks that kill you. They're just the attacks that break cards, and we kind of got to play all of those because you're not allowed to have a board. And so beware the draw. If you can find a kill con with Reiner, A+. If not, beware. In 19th, I've got Zeke Yeager, War Chief. So this character, people have completely and totally written off because of 9 Titans not existing, you know? But here's the thing about 9 Titans being an unfair card, is it turned this character from being good to being broken. And I think that he is still very good. He is still very good. He's very hard to kill because of, you know, the amount of draw, sacrificing the backup to draw, or on the backside committing the backup draw. He has one really big check pump on the front side, a consistent check pump on the back side. He's got a unique play pattern, and so he's not like really reliant on foundations, as well as like we get to play these really powerful backups inside of our deck. Like, I still think Jaeger's Follower is like one of the strongest cards that nobody's playing right now. And then because he's so unreliant on foundations, cards like Colossal Detonation are very good for him. I'll play Colossal. I'm going to nuke both of our stages and say, hey, I keep all of my backups. We both lose all our foundations. I'll build my 3 foundations and pass. And then we've restarted the game, but I haven't really lost that much equity. I had like 4 foundations to begin with. And so, like, I think this character is very, very solid. My big cons are very susceptible to stun. He can be a little slow, but he's got some very obvious kill cons that he's allowed to play. I'm very, very high on Zeke Yeager, War Chief, existing in the game. And existing at Worlds. If you are not prepared for the backups, that is how they get you. Move on to 18th. We've got Benny Maru, Shooting Star, a new KOF character that just came out inside of the Challenger deck. Insane combo potential. I don't mean the keyword. I mean, like, the tactics that this deck is allowed to use because of the symbol spread that he has, and truthfully that top enhance is like so crazy, right? Add a foundation from your stage to momentum. This attack, mine or yours, gets minus speed equal to the difficulty of the primitive foundation. 9 times out of 10, I don't care about the minus speed. I just care about ripping a committed card into my momentum to then reuse it somewhere else. With the probably most offensive thing to do with this character is just big stupid punch, ultimate combination, spend momentum for a powerful 5 move, and then you can build all the foundations you have. And so Benimaru shoving on these foundations, losing the stage advantage to go into your momentum, ultimate combination just rebuilds them back ready. They're not committed anymore. And see, it's ultimate combination is basically take an extra turn as long as you can find the hand size to like keep playing out the cards. It's very, very strong. And then on top of that, yes, he's a 722, which is a little higher on the 7 hand size side, especially with a minus speed ability that we have access to. But we also have access to all of the spend momentum, do a thing, right? Especially under the chaos symbol, we get things like Broken Psyche. We've got things like Decoy Duplicate, spend a momentum, negate this attack. It's very, very strong. It's really, really strong. My big cons are small builds will end your life because you are debuilding yourself. Because I am shoving things into my momentum, it is difficult to defend myself or maybe have my my game plan. I have to be able to play the game on these low foundation counts. And if you remember, ultimate combinations, the 6 difficulty moves. I've got my 3 foundations. I slam my ultimate combination. I'll get my 1 momentum back, but I committed my entire stage when I checked a 3 on it. Sure, but that's not like that's not really a winning game plan, you know. And so I think that this character, when firing on all cylinders, it's very hard to stop what he's got going on, but he might just lose to his own hubris of ripping his own stage apart and then building them all back and then running out of gas. It can be tough, but I still think this character is very, very good. Next, in 17th, I've got Kurama Yuko Unleashed. Yuko Unleashed. Probably a sleeper hit. I think a lot of people just went 17th for Kurama. I think this guy is unbelievably slept on. The ally package just got a massive glow up. This is a 7 hand size aggro character. This guy's mighty gatherings are the craziest, most unblockable, heinous attacks of all time. Constantly, the cons are not correct on this slide. We'll do it in post. The 7 hand size aggro character, the ally package is absolutely heinous right now. The fact that he has a response commit, get out of jail free card, right? He's Genkai's guidance on face as long as you have it attached to character. It's so good. And then the bottom hands of your rival as a top card of their card pool face down is essentially +1 speed for the whole turn, right? For anything that they try to play, and that includes like enhance actions or whatever. It's really rock solid. Combine that with the fact that under the life symbol, you get access to Hunter's Ally to build in Ray Fillet. So now it's +2 speed on everything. It's just like when this guy is set up and wants to kill you, he's just going to kill you. And having a 7 hand size 20 health character is not bad, especially when your deck is filled with a bunch of 0 mid blocks. Like there are ways for you to mitigate and get around the bad defense this character supposedly has, but offensively, this guy just kills you, man. This guy just goes for your throat. And if you can't deal with the card pool clogging, it's just game over. It's just game over. I think this guy's really solid. And I would not be surprised to see him top cut if somebody dedicated themselves to it. At 16th, I've got Smiling Titan. Smiling Titan. My big pros, turn 2 bombs. The fact that I still get to play things like it's not Colossal Detonation. It is 8 difficulty, 8 high for 8. I can't remember the name of this card. Man, I can't remember it. It says Blitz, my rival, spends momentum, destroys the foundation, discards a card. The fact that I've got an 8 difficulty, 8 high for 12, or a 12 high for 8 on turn 2 that it has like some amount of disruption is like insane. Like it's possible that Smiling Titan just like even the 5 hand size characters just like turn 2s them twice, right? Of just like, hey, I build out this big hefty board and then I slam a move that's unblockable. I slam a second move, it's unblockable. It's game over. And because of the unyielding ban, your stage isn't getting messed with in this consistent way that like was keeping Smiling Titan out of the meta. And so like I play my attack, and then I'm going to I build out my stage, and I'm going to have the foundation count to play my attacks afterwards. Sweeping Daggers got banned, and so when I play my 11 difficulty move, you're not playing it my 11 difficulty move as a 4 difficulty move and stealing my powerful Blitz ability. The rumbling is so crazy in this character. My cons are, if you can survive the early turn, the late game is very unstable. You need to have some pretty severe disruption with things like, I think, the rumbling in order to survive your late game to make this character viable, because things like Rodan still do exist, right? Rodan can chain block early, and so you need to really punish that character and stop their defensive abilities. But all in all, like, I still think this character, if you're looking at 6 hand size, I'm gonna try and turn to you. I think that this character is very solid. At 15th, I've got Ymir, probably the big unyielding ban once again. This character needs a stage. They have to have a stage. Being able to transform on turn 3 consistently in this character now is very solid. It is yes, the front side of this character is good for fast builds and whatever, but the big con here is on the front side you've got no real defense. Ymir Jaw Titan says commit for -3 speed, but on the front side you can have this offense, but on the back side is where the real magic happens. Must flip for full potential. This is my cons. With that said, if I flip as Ymir, you're probably dead. You're probably, if I flip I'm just killing you. There's not a lot of I flip and I play a couple of pokes and then I pass. No, I'm probably just like going for your throat. And then also when I do go for your throat, I am gaining all of my health back. And so this character does not have 23 health. This character actually has closer to 40 health, depending on how much health gain that I can navigate on the turn if I do happen to miss. You smacked me for 10 and then I gained my 10 back. There's 33 already. So there's a lot of gameplay to be said about this character. Also, I think their symbol spread also very good. It is a fire life character. It's very, very strong. And so looking at like what this character is has access to and the offensive potential this 7 hand size aggro character can do, and the fact that Unyielding got banned, I think this character probably should have been higher on my list than 15th. But genuinely, this middle section has been really hard to place in order. Such as Mikasa Ackerman, another 7 hand size, 23 health character that is killing you on turn 2. For all of the praise that Pony Tsunotori got for being a 7 hand size kill you on turn 2 character, Mikasa's just it. Yes, your card pool selection, your card selection is very limited because her errata now says after you play a weapon attack, clear a weapon card from your card pool. Is pretty detrimental when it comes to, like, you know, the choices that we make, whereas Pony didn't have that restriction. But the weapons that we have access to, that Mikasa has access to, are still very, very solid, are still very, very strong. They've got good pokes, they've got good flow cards, they've got good bombs. And so the big thing is can I build out a large enough stage that on turn 2 I then kill you? She gives a ton of speed because of we have access to the air symbol. We've got Hunter's Ally and Genghis Frog to cover up our damage. The clearing of our card pool by discarding cards, and after I hit you, commit, redraw a card, get to cycle in stuff. Like, this character's allowed to play like 9 attacks against you on turn 2 and pass them all pretty handedly. But the big detriment is she has less than 0 defense. This character is just trying to trudge forward and push, and 23 is not hard for people to find anymore. Especially if you just like put your hand down and say, hey, there's not really anything that I can do defensively to stop you. And so, if you're good at dice rolls, I think Mikasa is the character for you. She's just going to try and kill you on turn 2, turn 3 at the latest. But still can, because of this incremental speed that she has access to, still can play later games if my rival is not pressuring her to, you know, finish and get the job done. At 13th, another gasp from the YouTube chat. I can't believe that you have Mark Tyner, bane of the format, all the way down at 13th. And truthfully, I mean, this might be a hot take. I think this character is not good. I think this character is not good. I think this character is annoying. I think this character is super, super annoying. My pros: Noob Stomper and annoying. If there are some games of UniVersus where when you play against you draw your hand and it's a middling build, right? I'll build 3 in my 6-hander and it's fine. I've got 3 attacks. I review an attack and I draw 4 more attacks. I have 5 attacks in a foundation now. In some games of UniVersus, you go, oh, I'm probably going to lose. Against Mark, you did lose, right? And this is the place where Mark really capitalizes. Is he takes your rival's bad luck and he turns it up to an 11, which is a strong place to be, but it's not a Worlds tournament winning place to be. Capitalizing on my opponent's bad luck, how many times are they going to have good luck? And then my character's like kind of turned off a little bit. So more annoying than anything. If my rival just like builds 3 times in a row, because we don't have Unyielding, they're just going to pass a check even through the -2. We just don't care. And even so, like, my opponent disrespects my character, or respects my character rather, by building out these massive stages and not having cards in their hand. Tyner has a hard time killing. He does not have like this very obvious game plan where before we could have use things like Equipment Heist to build in MMMs to make all of our moves really, really solid. your mutant machines are kind of slow. I have to play them on a 7. I don't have a clean way to cheat them into my stage. And then on the next turn, I can commit them. So I see them coming, you know, like the way that a 7 difficulty asset should be. I can see the +5/+5 coming. And so if I don't want to get hit by that, I'm just going to hold more cards to defend myself after I've disrespected your character. So I think that, like, if you just, like, put your head down and run head first into Tyner, you're going to lose against this guy. Or if you get unlucky, your deck just decides that, hey, we're going to try and put our head down and run face first into this guy, you're going to lose. Outside of that, I think the really good players are going to find answers to what Tyner's going to do, even if that is, hey, play in a different way that is normal from your deck. In 12th place, I've got Overhaul. So, another character very similar to Pumat Sol that is an MMM deck. He can put it into his deck, and then he can unflip them by using things like Falling Heel Strike, or the other pro, his crazy custom card, Maximum Overhaul, of just take a card from your hand and put it into your stage face up or face down. And so the fact that this guy has access to MMM kind of on demand, can sneak it into a stage, and still has this 6 hand size +2 damage to all of your moves, is very solid. He is allowed to have a bit of a crazier mixture of attacks and foundations and non-foundations because of his first enhance to build a card from your hand. And the fact that randomly he plays the last one for free, this guy's got a lot of potential. I dropped him down to 12 because I think other characters are a little more consistent than he is, just off of the fact that he lost Equipment Heist. His Equipment Heist turns were absolutely heinous because not only was he able to play them out of his hand, which was the big detriment of Equipment Heists, if they were in your hand, they were stuck there, not for Overhaul. And so, like, we can't find them out of the deck now. I think he's just a little bit slower to, like, make the game plan happen. But with that said, like, we already had a top cut in a previous regional where Overhaul was playing MMM and wasn't even bothering with Equipment Heist. And so, like, the deck has the potential. He can do it. The question is are people going to let him? Assets are not currently in the format right now. You know, we bait Equipment Heist, which means that nobody's gonna play MMM. Overhaul will. Pack your asset hate. And so I think that this character still is very good. Still has these crazy pop-off turns. Maximum Overhaul is not a fair UniVersus card. I think that if Overhaul showed up and won the whole thing, I would not be surprised. But I am nervous about the consistencies that he has. In 11th, I've got Krista Lenz. Man, this character, when I read this character, me as Tam Cardwell, I look at this character and I go, this character's not very good. And then I sit down and I play against it, or I watch it played, and every time that I sit down and I watch or play against it or whatever, I go, man, that character is so strong. And then like I get Men in Blacked Neuralizered the next day, and I go, Krista Lenz, that character's not very good. This character is strong. Stun is really good in the current metagame. There's not a ton of stun hate, and so the fact that, like, remove a singular wall counter to give stun 1 on top of you were already playing stun outlets is very, very solid. I think it's a singular character that I think doesn't necessarily care about being stunned, and it's just Mikasa. But if you're stunning them and they decide to break that foundation, that's one less foundation they had on their turn. But the real powerhouse of this deck is build up 8, 9, 10, 12 counters on your character, which is pretty easy to do because of the heinous things you're allowed to do. Choose a card in each player's discard pile, mine or yours, place it on top of their deck. So I'm going to put whatever I want on top of mine and whatever I want on top of yours. If I want you to draw a foundation, I'm stacking a foundation. If I want you to check an attack, you're going to check an attack. I'm taking the best card out of my discard pile. Do I want to check a 6-check? I'll put it on top. Do I want to draw a card? I'll draw whatever card out of my discard pile I want. The avalanche gameplay of build up a ton of counters, use all my counters in a singular turn, it's very hard to survive the turn that Krista wants to just pop off and kill you. It's very, very solid. But the way that we generate these counters is, of course, discarding cards, whether that be reviewing, which is the most consistent way to do it. I get one of those per turn, or I need discard outlets. So constantly having, I think it's called not like this. Don't do this. Don't do this. Discard 1, your move gets stunned. It's an order attuned card, so every Krista gets to play it. It is discarding cards. It is having extra stuns. So I can discard for +2 wall counters, spend a wall counter for stun. So a stun on Krista, stun on don't do this, stun on the attack that I'm probably playing. Discard a card for stun 3 is very, very solid. It just rips stages apart. But if I never find the don't do this, then I'm slowly finding counters and my character is a little lackluster, which is where I was coming from originally. But if she finds the discard outlets, it's probably pretty heinous in the things that she can do. And there it is. There's my middle line. Again, I think you could possibly take the entire middle line, shake them up and spread them out in another order and go, I get it. I can understand it. This middle line was very hard to come up with and to place in the order that I wanted. And it was kind of a little vibes checky. But from here, we're now going to move on to our top 10, which in 10th place, I have Ghidorah. So Ghidorah is an interesting pick because if you notice, I've got 2 characters in the pros and cons list for Ghidorah. So let's talk about the pros. Obviously, Unyielding Ban is a big deal. This character is a go wide, play a late game. I'm gonna be. You talk about Mark Tyner being annoying. Ghidorah is the king of annoying. I'm gonna be an unkillable 3-headed behemoth. It's not possible for you to effectively find lethal against me. Very good in the classic Midoriya matchup of the I'm gonna turn 18 cards sideways and slam the biggest, craziest move at you of all time. That move does 10 damage tops. And so it's interesting to look at the metagame and see, because of the banning of Unyielding and the fact that Midoriya matchup is so good, Midoriya isn't even on our list yet, obviously he's going to be in the top 10, that this character has some real legs. On the flip side, this character has one of the worst Mikasa matchups of all time, because accidentally every move Mikasa does is for 10 damage. It's for 7 damage. She plays 4 throws that are 10 damage each. So like, I just successfully resolve 4 Lunas and you're down to a singular head. It's over. As well as the kill conditions for this character are very difficult. You have to set up a win condition and then play said win condition, and you have to find it while like surviving and like actually have to win. And so like, it's very easy, I'm sure, for you to draw out your games. Going XX7 inside of Worlds is probably really a potential. It's probably really, really easy to do. And so when I look at this character, I go, man, if you've got a good bracket, I think this guy can do it. If you notice, I did not talk about the card Megalomania in this cons list. And I think that's because I don't think anybody's really registering that card. That card obviously came out, and everybody went, oh my god, King Ghidorah is dead, even more than the Unyielding Ban. And then nobody played it. Nobody's registering this card, which I think is possibly a mistake. Possibly. There's some pretty heinous things you can do with Megalomania. But I think the big thing about this is, I think if you can just dodge those matchups. You just dodge them. I don't know. I might have King Ghidorah a little high. But I think that there's some real strength in this character coming back and doing something with it. Up next, I've got Jester Lavore. It's Jester's time, baby. Guilty Gear gave us tons of tension spells. Essentially, turning her into a beast summoning character that doesn't have to pay life to do the thing that she wants to do. She's constantly getting a bunch of momentum, as well as the tension spell is good. And this character already has 51 health. Combine that with the idea of using tension to put something's damage down to 3 is really, really solid. As well as, on the fire symbol, you're allowed to tutor Megalomania, which is such a strong, potent, single card answer to a lot of characters. Do you have a problem with Rodan? No, you don't. I'll just seal your character. Are you playing against King Ghidorah? I don't care. Seal your character. There's something really strong, and the fact that we get to start our every single turn of it if we want to, because of how Jester works. If on my play it on my turn, it'll go to my momentum or disco pile, whatever. I'll spin a momentum, and then I'll pick it up and then play it on my next turn. Like, starting your turn every turn with Megalomania seems very, very strong. But it doesn't mean you got to play the fire symbol. My big cons of the deck, tension is a keyword that people, I think, care about a lot, especially if your deck has any amount of tall attacks, something very strong. And so I think momentum hate is going to exist in a lot of decks. As well as, only under one symbol, the life symbol, do you have a card that says, if this card is committed, re-ready it immediately. And so that commit cost is a lot across the turn cycle. I commit on my turn, it will ready, back on your turn, commit on your turn. If I don't have Defiant Stance, or I'm not playing another life symbol, I stun to myself over the course of the turn cycle to get my 2 momentum. Sometimes I can kill you. And so you do have to pick and choose, when do I get my momentum, when do I spend my momentum. It can be a little tough to navigate. It can certainly slow the deck down, but if you can, there are so many more pros. Just tension spells is enough to push this character up and over to easily top 10 in the game, I think. Up next, I've got Han Zoe. So this character is weird. Let's talk about the cons first. Obviously, Unyielding Ban was a big deal, right? She had a 3-piece combo that was just like, or a 3-piece tactic that was just like Unyielding into Rock Barrage into Titan Pile that just like nuked you for your whole life total. The first piece of that pie now no longer exists, but you still get Rock Barrage into Titan Pile to just like selectively commit down 3 things, give this a bunch of speed, Titan Pile, it's a 7 high for a million. Like that game plan, it still exists. If you look at my second pros thing, pro dot, different win cons, Titan Pile is a win con, and Falling Titans is a win con. It might be that we shift back a little more towards Titan Pile, or excuse me, towards Falling Titans. I think that the life symbol has some ways to interact with what my rival is doing in their stage. Same thing with the fire symbol, has ways to interact with my rivals doing in their stage. And so I think that in the early game, before my rival finds their pieces, I think this character easily can accidentally kill you on turn 2. Just outright. Turn 2, turn 3, game's over. But the later the game goes, the more inconsistent she gets at, or they get at finding that kill. And so the question is how do I navigate pulling the early kill, as well as, you know, I don't have many foundations. What backups do I play? What symbol do I play? I think there was something really easy about Unyielding being kind of a get out of jail free card for a lot of these bad matchups, or even golden tickets in the good ones. So you got to just do a little more digging to make this character not, I'll use the word unfair, to not make this character unfair. Up next, we've got Nagororuki. I think this guy has undisputably the strongest turn 2s in the game. He is Godzilla-shaped, 6 hand size, 32 health character. Godzilla 634. Sorry, we didn't have the 2 health. And he says +4 damage to every move that I play, but he's not inhibited by the 5 difficulty clause that Godzilla is. Godzilla's 5 difficulty +3 damage, no difficulty cap, +4 damage. This guy plays Thunder Spear Barrage like like nobody, like he's the best in the game. He's the best in the game to do it. This guy easily finds 50 damage on turn 2. Like, consistently, if you're building your deck correctly. The issue is he gives +4 damage, but he gives 0 speed. And the add a blood counter to your character, or after you have 4 blood counters, selectively commit a rival foundation, is not good enough, I think, to not have access to that speed stat. And so there are certainly, if you have a character that can chain block what Nago's got going on, the lose 10 is a big deal. You know, I let you play 12 attacks and I just have to find 2 more damage. And then the longer the game can go, right? If I let you play 12 attacks, sure, you burn yourself for 30, but I was going to win the game anyways because I just have enough resources to defend myself. It's pretty strong. Speaking of Godzilla, in 6th place, I do have Godzilla. This character did not really go anywhere. He just got a little more inconsistent. The only thing that this character really lost was Titan Cliff, and it kind of fell off a little bit. We have Dust Attack, which is an insane tension move. And we still have like massive damage, the massive check bonus, the board reset, like all of these things, all culminating into I'm a 6-hand size 34 health character. It's very hard to one-shot me. This character is very, very solid. It's very, very solid. But without Titan Cliff, your classic aggressive hands can be a little clunky. And so you just have to find these attacks in other ways. I know for me personally, I've been big on playing echo moves, right? Whenever Godzilla first came out, things like Unfazed were inside of these Zilla lists, and it got phased out, funny enough, for a different 6-def, Titan Cliff. Easily could see it making its way back in. And so there are ways to make this character work. It does not have to be Titan Cliff or Bust, though. And so I still think this character has got a ton of legs. He's the king of the monster, and I think that he easily could go and win Worlds. In 5th place, I've got Sung Jin Woo, E-Rank Hunter. Everything that I liked about Elder Togoro and Zeke Warchief is just packed inside of Sung Jin Woo. The new shadow cards are insane. They're very, very solid. And the fact that, like, only having to level up 4 times to reach your maximum potential, your late game is incredible, your turn 2 defense is incredible, you get to become better Zeke Jaeger, +2 speed or -2 speed, and draw a card for destroying any backup, not just a shadow backup. So your Jaegerists are like, look at the top card of your deck, leave it there if you like it, destroy it, draw it. Crazy. And +2, -2, like so good. And then +X+2 damage on every attack that you play, equal to the shadow cards in your stage and your card pool. Like, this guy out the gate is like throwing at minimum +5 damage on every move, which is bigger than Godzilla and Nagiruki. Sometimes it's like +7. You know, it does both of them combined. Not to mention, Elder Togoro, for free, play a card out of your discard. Like the Shadow Monarch skill tree is nuts. It's actually nuts. And so, like, his game plan is consistent. It's overpowered. The biggest issue is you do have to put a bunch of bad XP cards in your deck in order for you to find your level up. Missing a level up could spell you losing the game, truthfully. If you don't level up every single turn of this character, you're probably going to lose. Especially on that turn 1 when you don't have shadow cards in your stage to level up with. This character is very good, but you do have to play the bad cards. And so if you can find the correct ratio when deck building, I think that he is a rock star. But man, you gotta level up. You gotta level up or you will be punished. In 4th place, I've got Devil Jin. This guy still does 40 damage turn 2s. If you don't got a low block in your hand, you're probably just gonna die. But with that said, he doesn't have the speed stat anymore that Mute Machine gave him. And so the early attacks were doing a bunch of damage but were blockable, and the later attacks were doing even more damage and unblockable. But having exam strategy just existing in your character is good enough for me to like want to play this character. Giving +X+X at the end of a string is strong enough to like to matter. But if you have a character that has some amount of chain blocking and is okay blocking the early ones and can survive the later ones because of a high enough health total, I think this character can flounder a little bit. Equipment Heist Ban, obviously massive hit for this guy, but this guy still does accidentally kill you on turn 2. He just still does it. He's got some very, very consistent pieces. Maybe Devil Jin. I think Devil Jin is probably a little high on my list, but I stuck him here, and that's where I feel about it. In 3rd place, I've got Rodan, Giant Monster of the Sky. Obviously, I mean, he's just the best anti-meta deck. His 3 symbols, specifically the Void symbol and how he interacts with the Void symbol, is so incredibly good at stopping what is currently in the meta. Do you not want my rivals cards to leave the card pool? We've got answers to that. Do we want speed to be 0? We've got answers to that. We want breaker? We got answers to that. You want to hate on assets? We got answers to that. We just have answers to literally everything we could possibly want. Could possibly enter. You want to turn off my rival's character card? Play Megalomania. That's a card you're allowed to play. You just have answers to literally everything. The question is what is the correct culmination of cards to be played for Worlds? You got to do the homework. You got to figure that out. As well as, my big con is, He's got a low health total. You have to play perfectly. Yes, he can block everything, but once you run out of blocks, what happens? What happens when you run out of blocks? You kind of explode, right? And then you got to find a kill con. How do I actually close and win the game? Stopping my arrival is not enough in UniVersus to win the game. We don't have like a mill out, deck out condition. We don't have an exhaust condition. Eventually, my rival will build up a big enough board and have 7-8 attacks in their hand and play them, sometimes more, depending on the last couple characters that we have. Eventually I'm going to kill you. And so you do need to find a way to close out the game on your side for your favor, while also having all of these answers that interact with what my rival is doing. It can be difficult, but I think that it can happen. I do think Rodan is the third best deck in the game. In second place, I've got Mikasa Ackerman, Kizaru's Hope. Unrelenting kill turns. Incredibly high health. 35 health is a ton. The symbol spread is very good. The death symbol is rock solid right now. The air symbol also very good. Has a lot of answers that I think people just attuned answers that people aren't playing in your death decks. Cons, soft to debuild. If my rival has any amount of debuild interaction, she needs to destroy her own foundations in order to make her game plan happen. Low defense. This character is not very good at blocking. She gets one really good block. Yes, she'll have the cards in hand to block, but she doesn't have the resources to block. And then, if I miss, I think the biggest difference between good Mikasa players and bad Mikasa players is they don't understand when it's time to give up the ghost and just rebuild my foundations if I miss. I've watched so many Mikasa players go to one foundation, miss, not have rebuilt. My rival rebuilds a bunch, and I look back in the Mikasa player, and they skip their turn because they just have to rebuild again. You constantly have to reload your foundations in order to have this onslaught back again. And so it could be a if you go for it and you take the risk and you gamble and you miss, it can sometimes just be game over. So you have to really pull back on the throttle sometimes and make sure that it's good. But like on the opposite scale, 9 times out of 10, when you do go for that I'm just gonna risk it and go for it, you're just gonna kill him, right? I'll play this 3 difficulty move. I need to check a 5. I checked the 5. I won the game because of it, right? Now my Lunas are on 1s or whatever. Like there's some insane things that this character is allowed to do. Borderline unfair, probably unfair things you're allowed to do. If you're not teching against Mikasa, I think you'll have a bad experience at Worlds. And then my number 1, obviously you all saw it coming. It's just Midoriya on the move. Izuku Midoriya on the move. Izuku Midoriya Quirks Unleashed is crazy. I've been playing this character a ton on stream. This character is 2 full characters. He is very, very good on the front side, and he's very, very good on the back side. He has 5 symbols, and 5 symbols equals choices that you're allowed to put in your deck for answers or game plans. Speaking of game plans, I don't know if anybody has seen, I think that Hadar Midoriya is insane. Stack a bunch of momentum, you play Hadar, you play Invisible Infiltration, and you play the Invisible Infiltration 5 times without ever needing to give it stats. Constantly just redrawing it, playing it, and then at the end of your turn, turn all your cards sideways and then slam them. Very solid. Cons. This character will not kill you on turn 2. It's just not going to happen. They'll maybe play a poke. It's 5 damage at maximum. We're not giving it any amount of stats. Maybe it'll get speed. Maybe it gets fast if it's a Fajin Flurry. Maybe. I am trying to find a turn 4, turn 5 game plan. So I won't kill you on turn 2, and if my rival forces me to do that on turn 2, I'm probably going to lose the game. Weak to mass debuild. If you are constantly destroying my foundations over and over and over and over and over again, obviously I want to have 20 foundations in my stage to turn them all sideways and kill you with it. And so if you can figure out how to consistently destroy cards over and over and over again, this character, at least on the Quirks Unleashed side, is going to have a bit of a tough game plan. And then they are weak on defense on turn 2. Normally on turn 2, either they are staying on the move side to commit their foundations to chain block cards, or I've turned 3 foundations sideways to flash one of your moves and redraw a card. Either way, if I'm on the front side, I don't have an offensive turn on the next one. If I'm on the back side, I stun 3'd myself, but to potentially negate an attack, essentially. And so if you can find 10, 15, 20 damage on turn 2 and you force me to play with 10 or less health, 15 or less health, your game plan to killing Midoriya and kind of eking out that advantage is probably where you have to be. So you have to be aggressive into this character. And if you're not, it's probably going to get you in the late game. And so there it is. There is my top 30 characters. I'm happy with this list. I think there's a couple things that could shift around depending on how people feel. But I'd love to know how you guys feel in this almost exactly 1 hour long video. Thank you much for watching, you guys. Thank you for enjoying the content. Thanks for supporting and believing in the dream. Let me know what you guys think, whether it's in the comments or over on my Discord. With that said, thank you much for watching the video. And as always, I wish you well.